Welcome to another edition of Hub City Times Presents Author's Corner. I'm here today with MP Kollman. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. So you've written a couple books, correct?
Five.
5 books.
Well, published five. Let me put it that way.
Okay. So let's first start out by, when did you start writing?
I started writing in grade school.
Okay.
I don't remember what I wrote about. Being the age that I am, which we won't talk about.
That's okay.
It was cowboys and bank robberies and stuff like that, and I loved horses, so I'm guessing that there had to be a cowgirl and a horse.
Okay.
What plot, I don't know.
Where did you go to school?
I grew up in central Minnesota.
Okay.
On a dairy farm. I went to a school of 300 kids. When I graduated, much less than that before then. And it was there were more kids in the school than there were in the town.
Okay.
Grew up on a dairy farm, like I said, about 7 miles out of town, at least 2 miles from the nearest person my age.
Okay.
So I had no friends, growing when I was, that I could go visit. My characters became my friends in the summer when I wasn't in school and even during school.
Under her breath, she said, "We will not mention that." And so you started just as an enjoyment, or was this an assignment?
No. It was just for my own personal enjoyment, just keep busy.
Okay. But then when did you look at publishing for the first time?
The series came to me kind of like as a whole.
Okay.
I initially created the 3 main characters in Brothers back in high school.
Okay.
And then I stopped writing. Went out and lived my life, and instead of being a recluse, then I became a mother, a stay-at-home mother.
Okay.
And again, that creative urge came over me. Kids were off doing their things. I didn't have to watch them 24/7, and these 3 characters came back to me. I said, well, I don't really like what they were doing back then. I've outgrown that.
Okay.
Then they invaded me. The whole family invaded me. And they did not leave until I got all 9 of the plot lines down.
So there's 9 brothers in this story?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, 9 plots.
Okay.
So there would be 9 books, but this one is actually 3 books in itself. So there's only going to be 7 when I get done. That's when the urge took over me again. And actually, I don't really consider myself an author. I can think more of myself as a reporter, because I create the characters and then they just take on a life of their own, and whatever they tell me to write down, that's what I write down. So either I sound like an idiot or a genius. I don't know which.
No, a genius. We'll go with genius. And the thing is, that's how you do your writing. And so I've never heard anyone refer to themselves as a reporter instead of an author. I mean, you are an author, but that's not how you feel you get your writing. And so, like you said, this first one is Brothers.
Right.
And so when did this one get written or published?
Written in the 80s. Published in 96.
Okay.
And then I went to work and kind of got set aside again. And then at one point, Brothers and Sequela were one book.
Okay.
And somebody said, no, it's just too long. You gotta cut it. I said, well, it's 2 really good plots. So I said, okay. How do you do that? So I looked at it and I said, okay, I can cut Brothers here and then start Sequela back a little bit and move it forward from there, kind of backtrack and rewrite stuff. So then that one came out in 2012.
But that had to be exciting, like when you got the first one.
It was. My kids went crazy.
Yeah, you should be proud. I mean, this is quite the talent.
Well, like I said, I didn't write them.
But you did.
I guess I probably did.
So step back 1 second. Okay. So to go to, because it is a series, and right now it's a series of 4.
Correct.
Okay. And so what is the basis? I mean, before I'm going to buy a book, I need to know what it's about.
Okay. If I might be able to read something here, I think that will explain basically the basis and then the whole series, but if I try to explain it, I'll screw it up. So, when Jerome Grayson began using drugs in high school, his brother Kevin, the goody two-shoes, tried to get him to quit. When their father discovered this, he kicked them both out of the house, and they each went their separate ways. Jerome deeper into drugs, and Kevin would eventually join the Bureau of Drug Enforcement. 9 years later, working a case in his hometown of Jasper, Wisconsin, Kevin Grayson watches customers come and go from a store that has mistakenly received a shipment of drug-filled vases when a woman with the most beautiful brown eyes he's ever seen exits the store. So stunned by her warm smile, he fails to notice the bag she carries. After she passes, he shakes off his reaction, reminding himself that he has work to do. But then the gunshot. Then, discovering the contents of the bag she carried, his mind and heart hardens against her. When the girl awakens from a coma with amnesia, Captain Dave Williams talks her psychiatrist, Emery Grayson, into letting her stay at his house for therapy and protection until the man who tried to kill her is caught. And the amnesiac isn't sure if she should trust or fear the man guarding the Grayson mansion. Of course, the shooter is Jerome, and the woman is Samantha. And Brothers ends with a deadly confrontation between the two brothers.
Oh, yikes.
Oh, yikes. Yes, yes. So the rest of the series follows Samantha and Kevin in their romance.
Okay.
Now, Brothers starts on December 18th, and Honeymoon...
Which we haven't talked about yet.
No. That one ends on February 26th. Their honeymoon ends on February 26th. After meeting only on the December 18th. So it was a very quick romance there.
That's okay.
Okay. Yeah. So Sequela takes right off from where Brothers ends.
Okay. Things
happen in Brothers. The kind of breadcrumbs dropped along the way if you read closely enough. So Sequela isn't really a surprise. A young man whose father commits suicide in Brothers decides to take revenge on the whole city of Jasper.
Oh, goodness.
Yes. They have to figure out who is doing certain stuff. Captain Williams's daughter is kidnapped. 3 girls are raped and killed. Oh, yes.
I was not warned before this.
and then they find him, and he kidnaps Samantha and Captain Williams' daughter, and Kevin finds them.
Okay.
Before the building gets blown up.
There's a lot of action.
Oh yes. It moves. You find at times it feels like, well, I want to know what's going on over here because that's where the action is, and this is just kind of lazing along, and then I zip back to the action. But that's just the way I write. My point of view changes because I'm not omniscient. As an author, I don't go wandering around and get into everybody's mind. I will go to a certain person, take that point of view for a whole scene, and get inside their mind, what they are thinking as they're doing things. So the reader knows what's going on.
Okay.
But the people in the book haven't a clue, the characters. The good guys, anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
They're lost.
Okay, and so this series currently, you just finished your 4th in this series, and that's the one that's sitting right here.
Correct.
Okay, and is that the end of the series, or
There's 3 more books.
there's 3 more books coming? Because
What it ends up being, there's 3 trilogies.
Okay.
So this is the first trilogy, and they take place, like I say, within only a few months from beginning of the trilogy to the end of the trilogy. Morai is 3 books in one, and again, it starts in June and ends in September.
Okay.
So it's very tight, but that's 3 years after the first trilogy. And 3 years after Morai, the 3rd trilogy begins.
Okay, and now you've also got one other book that you published, and that one is this one, Skin Deep.
Yes.
And Skin Deep was kind of written somewhere in between here?
Yes.
Yep, that was published in 2016. It's a romance with no deeper plot than that. Just the romance trying to get 2 people together. It's a little bit different than your normal romance where the girl has it all together and it's her job, she thinks, to help the guy see that they were meant to be together.
That is our job, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
But she has something in her past, he has something in his past. They come together. She is going from Chicago to Superior to visit her parents. They just moved there. She gets lost. She's taking the circuitous route, turns off on a wrong place.
Okay.
And she's going on this road it's a logging road, and she runs out of gas. She knew she had to get gas, but she was only a few miles from the next town, but she didn't make it to that town. And so she runs out of gas, so she has to walk, still back in this backwoods, hasn't met a car, thank heavens, because there's no way to turn around on this narrow road. It's winter, of course.
Of course.
Of course. And all of a sudden she sees a cabin off the side of the road. She said, great, someplace to get smoke coming out of the chimney, someplace to get warm anyway and maybe dry off a little bit because she's soaked. So she goes to the cabin and knocks on the door. She knows it's a man, and she's not real thrilled about that, going into this cabin where there's probably a man who probably is not going to be very happy to see her.
Okay.
Invading his territory. Then it starts to snow, and they get snowed in for 3 days, and perfect. Gotta keep them together and stick them together, and it's a classic ploy in romances. Okay. But 3 days they're stuck together, but this is where he lives year round because he left everything behind and needed to be by himself.
Okay.
And he's lived there for 12 years, being by himself. And of course he falls in love with her, but he knows there's something in her past, but he can't get her to open up about it.
Well, we don't want you to ruin the story, and so.
That's all I'm telling you.
So, what made you take a break from the series and go to this one? Because there's some in between.
The book just characters came to me and they told me their story and write it down, woman.
Okay. And you've already got something planned out for the rest of this series.
Yes.
And so is there a time frame that you're working on with that, or?
I hope to get the accident, which is the fifth in the series, done by spring.
Okay.
But I need about 20,000 more words.
Okay.
And so hopefully I can get it done, but it deals with things that I have no experience with. So, where I have no experience with people being kidnapped and killed and.
Yeah, I was going to start to question this.
There's other stuff, but it deals with grief. Okay. And my parents are the only people that I've close enough to who have passed on that
You've experienced it.
that I've experienced. And this is a 6-year-old child, lost the mother and a brother, and husband, lost wife and a son. One woman lost her best friend since kindergarten. So it's like, I don't know how, I was just kind of glossing over it, and then I read it and I said, I don't think I can gloss over that, especially with the 6-year-old kid.
Yeah.
You can't just, well, now he's fine.
Yeah.
No.
It doesn't work like that.
No. So I'm working on that part of it. The rest of it is kind of more or less, done, but working on that is kind of hard for me.
Okay, nope, that's all right. Now, we've talked with other authors before, and they've mainly, it seems like a lot of self-published. And is that what you did?
Yes.
Okay, and so what process have you done for yours?
Okay.
Well, Brothers was done, like I said, 96, and the process is totally different now
Okay.
than it was then. I kept asking the publisher, I said, so how do we sell this after, where do we go from there? He said, oh, I'll tell you as soon as it's published. Well, it's like, okay, it's published, and bye.
They were done with you.
Huh? Sequela, Honeymoon, and Morai have all been published by Outskirts Press.
Okay.
I really enjoy working with them. I did go to Life Rich with Skin Deep just for something different. Check it out. They are a subsidiary of Reader's Digest, which that I thought that was kind of cool. I've been reading Reader's Digest since I was knee-high to a totem pole. So, but the Outskirts, both of those companies have excellent, after you're published, they have programs where they help you, set up, they don't set up things for you, but they tell you how to do things, suggestions like, hey, go into the restaurant where you sometimes go, and ask them if you can put a copy of your book on a couple of the tables so that people pick them up and start reading while they're waiting for their food or their coffee, I thought, well, okay, I can do that. Sure. I'm shy. I'm introvert. The last thing I'm probably ever going to do is walk in cold.
And say, will you let me set my book here?
How about right here?
Actually, I did do that with Ground Up Coffee
Okay.
in Stratford.
Yeah.
And they were kind enough to not just let me put my book there, but they had a craft sale, and they said, would you like to come and
Neat.
sell some of your books? You betcha.
Yeah.
But that's what you have to do is you have to get out there and market it yourself. You have to get out there, and if you know somebody who's willing to do it, ask them if they would be willing to host a book signing, either at their house or someplace else.
A coffee shop.
Coffee shop.
And also, go to the libraries, ask if they have something. Go to the bookstores, ask if they have, would like to do a book signing or something like that.
And so if somebody wants to get any of your books, the series or Skin Deep, how would they go about doing that?
Okay, these 4 are all on Amazon
Okay.
as Kindle or Barnes & Noble and Nook, so you can get them there. You can also go to the publisher themselves, and they sell PDFs of the book, or sell you the paper book. Brothers is a little different because it was published back in 1996. Whoever heard of anything called Amazon back then, let alone Kindle.
Yes.
So I have almost all the copies, other than the ones that I have sold. I have them at my house.
Okay.
So you have to contact me in order to get them. I have a website, mpkollman.com. I'm also on Facebook, mp.Kollman, Facebook.
If I'm not mistaken, they might be at the Hub City Times also?
Yeah, thank you. They're at Hub City Times office, which is connected to, which is on Second Street. Second Street. Yep.
Yes, and we have all of them there because you just brought the new one in.
Yes, I did. I have all 5 of them are there.
Kind of a good Christmas gift for somebody.
I would think so. Yes. Yeah. But my son, who is my tech guru, designed my website for me, and it's really cool. It looks professional. Oh, he is professional. So it's one cool feature that is on there is the backstory for the Brothers series.
Okay.
The history of the Grayson family, which it's the Emery is the doctor, he's the father, and Kevin and Jerome, and also of the Banning family, which is Kevin and Jerome's mother. It's just kind of neat. They were the first settlers in this area, and named the town, populated the town, and had businesses, and so it kind of I think it's kind of neat.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm intrigued, and I'm going to have to get the books myself to check them out. So, and now you already have it plotted out how you're going to finish out this series.
Yes.
And then after this series is complete, do you kind of have an idea of what you want to do next, or?
Nobody's really come to me. There's one in the back of my brain, but
So we might get another one kind of snuck in like Skin Deep did?
Probably not.
No.
I want to get these.
I want to get the series out. So
Okay. And now you said spring for the next edition of the series, hopefully. I mean, when are you hoping to have the series complete? Pressure's on.
Oh, thanks a lot.
I do that to people here.
I hope within a year
Okay.
or two, tops, because the accident is the next one. Like I said, I need about 20,000 more words than that. The one after that is Promises. It's pretty well written out, but it could probably stand another 10 to 20,000 words. But then Generations, it's pretty rough.
Oh no.
I mean, it's all there, but there's it takes 7 years here, and then there's there. But there's what's in between.
Right. Well, I guess the reason I ask is I'm one that doesn't like to wait for the next book. So I'm kind of I'm waiting.
Of Sequela, and this was 2016.
Yep.
This was 2021. I had people. So what happened to her?
Well, yeah, that's my fear.
What happened to her? Because this ends with an explosion, and what happened?
The cliffhanger. I hate the cliffhangers on shows.
So now you can go right into it.
But they had to.
But then I'm going to go into this one and finish, and now I got to wait till spring.
Well,
so
Like I said, this is with the 3 trilogies. It's like, okay, this is all together.
Okay.
This is, like I said, 3 years later.
Okay.
So it's kind of time has elapsed and nothing. There are no cliffhangers.
Okay.
On
Here.
honeymoon, no.
But what about
And
here?
There's no cliffhanger there either.
Okay, so I'm safe reading it now that you're not going to make me wait this 5 years, was it, in between these two?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's mean.
I know. Oh, well, yeah.
Okay, so now I can start reading, and I'll know more are coming, but hopefully within not more than 5 years.
And
There aren't any cliffhangers with the last trilogy.
Okay.
It's just they're separate books. I mean, these 3 and these 3, they kind of meld into one another.
Okay.
I mean, you can't really separate them. I hated to separate these two. It's like, okay. And Honeymoon was kind of separate too, but except to answer the questions, a cliffhanger at the end of Sequel.
Yeah, that's just mean.
I know.
For people like me, that's just mean.
But-
But you didn't do it for the next one, so we're good.
No, it's,
Like I said, the trilogies are self-contained. And one thing you will find that every one of these books has a prologue. Not one of them has an epilogue.
Okay.
That's Generations. And that's the name of it, it actually is. Generations Epilogue.
Okay.
So, yeah, it just gathers all 9 plots together and kind of completes it.
And now you said you have that one kind of back in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to be back to the romance or
to romance.
romance again?
well,
There's romance in the brothers. Yeah.
Better have some romance there.
Yes, and it is the romance between Kevin and Samantha that drives the whole series.
Okay.
Until you get to Generations, and that's just it's a different book.
Okay.
It's different, but yeah, I mean it's not focused on Samantha and Kevin.
Okay. So then your website again?
mpkollman.com.
And that's how somebody can reach out to you to get brothers.
Yes.
Or they can go to Hub City Times and get
Yes.
all of them.
Yes.
And the others, besides for brothers, can be purchased on Amazon?
Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
Barnes & Noble.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
And thank you for joining us for another edition of Hub City Times Presents Author's Corner.